hangs in the balance. Human endeavor turns to chaos. And within seconds, nothing will ever be the same. Ever. Prepare to witness some of the most amazing destruction ever caught on tape. A massive twister generating winds of 135 miles per hour devastates a Nebraska factory. And the world-famous motorcycle daredevil's 180-foot jump attempt ends in disaster. Its TV so explosive, you'll run for cover. This is Destroyed in Seconds. They're one of the most destructive forces on Earth.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous.
Their winds begin forming around 10,000 feet. Extremely low barometric pressure pushes the winds in a circular motion, creating a funnel cloud. And when they touch down, tornadoes cost the U.S. an average of $1 billion in damages every year.
This is a tornado watch message. The National Weather Service has issued tornado watch.
June 17, 2009. Storm chasers Dick McGowan and Darren Brunin cross state lines to track a supercell that they suspect might spawn tornadoes.
South. Let's go south. Oh my God.
Here you go. Here you go.
I don't think we're okay. Oh my goodness.
Near the town of Aurora, Nebraska, their hunch pays off.
No, what's going on? Wait. Watch it. Give it to me. Get out of the car. Camera, give me the camera. Power flashes. It's still recording. I see it. I got it.
An EF1 tornado with 100-mile-per-hour winds and nearly as wide as 9 football fields touches down.
Tornado! Large, violent tornado! Very, very close!
Electrical arcs from downed power lines flash through the twister as the tornado barrels into homes in the distance.
Oh my gosh!
Debris whirls around inside the vortex.
Sustained winds of at least 70, 80. I think it's coming right at us.
Another storm chaser, AJ Fable, captures the same tornado from a different angle.
Big tornado coming right at me! Big flash now! It's gotta be a quarter-mile wide!
Quickly reaching EF2 intensity, the Aurora tornado rips into this pet food factory with winds of 135 miles per hour.
Literally in front of my eyes, look at this! It is tearing this building apart!
Roofing and siding material are blown off the building and sent flying through the air.
I am literally 400 yards away from it! It just ripped the roof off this building! This is truly incredible! It is June 17, 2009! Debris is everywhere!
After 18 minutes of destruction on the ground, the tornado dissipates. In addition to the ravaged pet food factory and the downing of 60 power poles, 6 homes and several outbuildings suffer structural damage.
Oh my goodness!
This is the second EF2 tornado to strike Aurora in the past 13 months.
Large, violent tornado!
Fortunately, no one is injured.
It is tearing this building apart!
October 1989, outside Hamburg, Germany. Firefighters are called to the scene of an out-of-control fire. Pallets of paraffin wax stored on the property are engulfed in flames. Paraffin becomes highly flammable when exposed to extreme heat. Rivers of the melted wax run through the streets. Fire crews fear the temperature of the fire is getting so hot that barrels of turpentine located in a storage area next door could ignite. Turpentine is a volatile solvent that, when exposed to extreme heat, could explode. carbon dioxide-based foam would normally be used to extinguish a paraffin fire. But thermal winds generated by the intense heat will merely blow the foam away. Firefighters spray water on the barrels of turpentine, hoping to keep the chemical from igniting. The melting wax gets so deep, emergency vehicles are stranded at the site. Firefighters' attempts to keep the turpentine cool fail. As the fire begins to burn itself out, foam is applied to the last of the flames. Cleaning up the melted paraffin takes weeks. Authorities conclude that the fire is an act of arson. The perpetrator is never apprehended. This is the second time in 5 weeks that a paraffin fire has broken out on the property. No one is injured in either blaze.
Making his official entrance to Cerritos, California, Robbie Knievel.
It's a dramatic entrance for world-famous motorcycle daredevil, Robbie Knievel. He's arrived at this car dealership in Southern California to attempt a new world jumping record, a distance of 180 feet over 25 pickup trucks. Robbie has calculated the precise speed he needs to reach in order to clear the trucks. Conditions look perfect, but the approach holds a hidden danger that Robbie's not aware of. Robbie's tires slip on a spot of engine oil on the pavement. He doesn't get up enough speed and comes up short on his landing. Robbie's bike bounces off the ramp just above the 22nd truck, launching him upside down over the handlebars. He smacks the pavement and slides 50 feet. Rescuers rush in and medics examine the injured stunt rider. Robbie offers the crowd a reassuring thumbs up as he's taken to the hospital. Robbie sustains severe cuts to his backside. Suffered when his leather riding pants shred during his slide. Unlimited hydroplane racers power their boats with aviation engines, allowing them to hit speeds of over 200 miles an hour.
More elimination heat to go. Here comes starting the...
But along with high speeds comes high danger.
The cockpit. 50 feet high and 200 feet back.
Fans gather to watch some of the fastest boats in the world compete on Mission Bay. Six-time National Unlimited Hydroplane champion Chip Hanauer races in this heat. Hanauer enters the turn at 160 miles per hour. As his roughly 2,600 horsepower boat starts to catch air. It's called an air trap, where the boat's forward motion creates intense air pressure under the hull. Air lifts the 6,000-pound vessel out of the water and sends it flying. The wreckage lands upside down in Mission Bay. There are no signs of life. If Hanauer is still in the cockpit, rescuers hope his helmet's compressed air system has kicked in. Hanauer is taken out feet first and placed on a stretcher. He suffers several broken bones, but he's alive. Hanauer credits his seatbelt, the enclosed canopy, and the highly trained rescue personnel for saving his life. His $500,000 boat has only minor damages, and Hanauer's back racing 3 weeks later. Millen is no stranger to risk-taking. He's been racing cars for nearly 18 years. Now, Reese is in El Toro, California to attempt something new, to be the first person to pull off a backflip in a truck. Reese is about to take one last practice jump before he performs this stunt for an audience on New Year's Eve. But before he goes, he decides to slightly alter the speed of his approach, not realizing the effect it will have on his landing. Reese speeds toward the 18-foot launch ramp. The 4-foot hinge extension at the top of the ramp launches the truck. But Reese doesn't take into consideration that changing his speed also changes his trajectory. The truck overshoots the cardboard boxes that were supposed to cushion his landing and crashes upside down onto the pavement. His team rushes in. Moans can be heard emanating from the wreckage. The crew pushes the vehicle onto all 4 wheels, then tries to assess the extent of Reese's injuries.
You know what just happened?
He's administered oxygen once the firefighters arrive and has to be cut from the wreckage. Reese suffers 3 fractured vertebrae in his neck and 2 compressed vertebrae in his back. After undergoing several months of rehabilitation, Reese fully recovers. He later goes on to successfully perform the backflip. Citizens of Perth, Australia go about their day, while a gas station burns. Passers-by seem confident that firefighters have the blaze in hand. But none of them realize that the situation is about to escalate out of control.
Whoa! It just exploded. It's pretty big now. Jesus.
The fire erupts as gasoline is being transferred from the truck into the station's underground storage tank. The area is suddenly under a fiery siege. The tanker holds over 10,000 gallons of gasoline. As heat from the fire intensifies, the 6 fuel compartments inside the tanker begin to expand. The greater the temperature, the greater the expansion, until 2 of the compartments burst.
It just exploded.
Whoa! Nearly 4,000 gallons of fuel explode, filling the sky with noxious black smoke.
Oh. Yeah, there's more coming down. It's blown up again, and I think the units are on fire as well now. I think it's hit the units behind it. I'm gonna go, bud.
Police warn bystanders of the impending danger.
Go, now. All right. I'm getting to where it's gonna go. Go.
Okay.
Nearby homes and businesses are evacuated. Firefighters try to contain the inferno, as additional crews are called to the scene. Due to firefighters' efforts, the surrounding structures are saved. The fire is extinguished within an hour. The tanker and service station are destroyed, and damages top $2 million. It cost another $500,000 to clean the spilled gasoline from a nearby river. Fortunately, no one is injured in the inferno, which was set off by a tiny spark of static electricity.
It just exploded.
It's championship snowmobile racing in the Norwegian Alps. Racers compete inches apart at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour, which is considered fast on this dangerous snow-covered track. But at this level of racing, raw speed is trumped by technique and control. 25-year-old newcomer Bjorn Terje Hegley has a goal for the season: to prove an amateur can beat the pro. But a miscalculation on the longest jump of the course will bring his season to an early end. Hegley miscalculates his approach and enters the jump with too much speed. The snowmobile flips end over end, ejecting Hegley nearly 50 feet. The race is stopped. Rescue personnel rush in. A trip to the hospital reveals a broken shoulder blade, and Hegley's snowmobile is totaled. Hegley returns to racing the next season, but 3 years later retires after suffering another serious accident. Pilots and aircraft enthusiasts gather at the El Mirage Dry Lake, a sizzling 6-mile-long wasteland that doubles as a landing strip. The owner of this experimental helicopter cautions the pilot not to fly more than 5 feet off the ground. Despite the warning, he takes the craft high above the lake bed, where he encounters trouble.
Oh my gosh! Landed. Holy! Hello?
At an altitude of around 200 feet, the helicopter's engine stalls. In this type of emergency, pilots are trained to perform a maneuver called an auto-rotation landing. By allowing the rotors to rotate freely, the pilot can perform a controlled descent. But the pilot doesn't perform the maneuver.
Oh my gosh! Holy!
The 400-pound helicopter hits the ground nose up, demolishing the rear rotor. The force of the impact mangles the chopper's frame. Fearful that leaking fuel will spark a fire, the pilot frees himself from the wreckage, then collapses to the ground. Spectators rush over to help.
Okay, just relax.
A rescue helicopter and fire truck are called to the scene. The pilot is lucky to escape with only back pain and minor bruises.
The engine quit. I know it's time to come down.
Holy!
But the experimental helicopter, which cost its owner $35,000 to build, is totaled. I'm Ron Pitts. See you next time on Destroyed in Seconds.